All right, let's bring her in, Shaq. You know, if the owners and the players union were locked in a room with our next guest, she would have this lockout solved in about an hour or 1/7 the length of the average major league game. Each and every day, she hosts the Comedy Central roast of Rob Manfred on Twitter. One of our favorites, Sarah Tiana, is here. What's happening, Sarah?
Oh man, good to be here. Good to be here. Any chance to talk shit about Rob Manfred, I'm in.
Well, listen, I mean, I want to know how you're feeling because I'm a big baseball fan. Shaq obviously wants to see the boys of summer return to the diamond, but you have taken this extra personally. Why?
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
Well, I think because, the last major strike, everybody threw the players under the bus, and they were constantly blamed. And the players are always blamed for being these like spoiled millionaires because they're the ones that are asking for more money. They're the ones, it's not the owners that are like, can we pay you more? But they're demanding more from their union, which is completely plausible and normal. As the game progresses, as the game makes more money, as the owners make more money, everybody else should make more money. That's the way companies work. You give your players and your employees a raise. And I think after the last strike, in 94, it was just like it really, especially for like someone like Tom Glavine, who played for the Braves at the time, like he really took a hit. And I just didn't want to see that happen again. And luckily it's not happening because of Twitter. Like the players are all on Twitter and they've all, shadowed out their faces and they're like at least coming to their own defense now publicly, as opposed to like they weren't even able to in 94. So I think this is like, it's been really great to watch and see and be invested in.
Yeah. Tom Glavine took a hit when he was forced to finish his career with my Mets, but that's a different, I don't think that was at the negotiating table, but you put it very simply. You said, hey, we need to root for millionaires over billionaires. And I think if you extract that, it's like concessionaires, like ushers, parking lot employees. Those people are not even in they're what would you say, hundredaires? Like they don't make anything except this is their job for the summer. Like, I don't know. That hasn't been brought up enough. I don't think, at least.
Definitely not. I think it's a trickle down effect. Also, the players are fighting for minor league players' rights and trying to get them more incentives, and which I think is always admirable. I mean, minor league players make $900 a week, and people are constantly yelling. Like I would play this game for $30,000 a year. It's like, no, you wouldn't. And if you would, you're not good enough to play. Like you spent your whole life trying to come up and play this game, and you can't even get into the league most of the time until you're 24. Then you don't even reach free agency until 30. It's completely bonkers the way Major League Baseball's free agency system works. I can't believe it's not a bigger issue, but I think the restructuring of the deals and the fact that now like you can come up like every year you can reach your negotiations, like that will really help. But it's just so unfair. I mean, the NBA is 3 and the NFL is 4. For Major League Baseball to be 6, it just shows you how far behind other leagues they are.
Yeah.
Do you think, though, what is the reason for, you say, fans say, I would do it for free. They're playing a game. Why do you think people side with billionaires over millionaires?
Well, because the billionaires don't have a face and the fans are people that they know. I mean, the players are people that they know. They, there's a face to these players. They see them pulling up in their Porsches or whatever it is. They don't see billionaires arriving in a jet. So, it's different. And also, I think, people on Twitter and online constantly call this a child's game. Like they're all fighting over a child's game. And it's like, I could put you up against the worst pitcher in Major League Baseball, have him throw you 100 pitches and you would strike out 101 times. Like, this is not a child's game. They make it look easy because they are so good at it. It's like stand-up comedy, like when you're good at something, everyone thinks you make it look easy. So everybody thinks they can do it. It's the same reason comedies aren't nominated for Oscars, because when you're really good at comedy, it looks easy. Drama, it looks hard.
Interesting. So you're saying because of the visibility and people recognize baseball players, they are the villains or more villainized than they should be. So do you think they should wear masks? Maybe it would help them to wear masks, not the Dr. Fauci mask, but like the Scream mask. I don't have fun with it. Maybe that brings younger fans into it too.
Sure, they're all just
doing something.
They're all catchers, all-time catchers.
That's right.
Maybe you're right. If they all dress like Avengers, Sal, that would really bring in the young fans. Like you're not rooting for, you're not for whoever your third baseman, it's Iron Man.
Right.
At the hot corner.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
They're
okay.
literally the Batman. I mean, they are the Batman too, actually. But yeah.
Are we going to so Sarah's humble brag about stand-up comedy being, we're going to let that go. Okay. That's fine. Okay.
She has enough on her plate. It's tough. It's tough with this
I didn't
baseball.
say I was that good that it made it look effortless. I just said when you are. I didn't say me.
Well, Shaq, you go, I want to have it out with you here a little bit because we talk about the Steelers and the pride and the franchise and whatever they do right by the minority hires. Great. Obviously that's the case and they never bow down. They have a whole different system. What about the Pirates ownership? They're one of a handful of owners who are really, really making this worse than it needs to be, primarily because they don't care about winning. Defend your team, Shaq.
I'm not going to defend that. What do you think? I am a fan of the Pittsburgh Pirates brand, which is why I can't stand the Nuttings who I mean, just, empirically aren't trying. I mean, there is no justification other than they're trying to make money. I think as far as what Sarah said about rooting for the players is right, or rooting for the owners is because they're kind of faceless to us. I also think that what fans don't want is disruption to what we know. And so when there's a sense of like they should be out there and I'm being deprived of that, I think we tend to side with the brand, which the owners have on their side of things. The players can be fluid. You can move on and go. That's why contract negotiations, if a guy holds out too long, it's like, get rid of this unappreciative jerk and move on. He gets to wear our cap. That's the leverage that owners and the team brand has over individual players always. I think that but I'm not going to defend the Pittsburgh Pirates, please. There should be a floor, a cap floor, and that's that. I mean, there's
no reason that Garrett Cole should be making more in 1 year than the entire Pittsburgh Pirates team, because I think last year your payroll was $40 million. So it's like that's really like damning. You know what I mean? And then these owners cry poverty, but like literally no owner has ever lost money on a team. Like no one has ever sold the team and like got less than what they paid for. You know what I mean? So, I mean, Manfred's job is to make owners money, and that's what he's been doing. So we'll see how it all shakes out, but I'm never on the side of a billionaire.
I want to say this, Sal, quickly, if I can. You tried to go at me. I'm on your side with this. I want to shout out Sarah here and say how noble it is that she wants baseball to return, despite the fact that her favorite team is the reigning champion. The longer this goes on, the longer your reign.
I'm kind of with you.
I feel like this is great. This is great for you. If baseball gets canceled forever, then, the Atlanta Braves stay on top forever, right?
Yeah, that's right. It's like, it's one more year that we can say we have the trophy. It's one more year that we can say we have Freddie Freeman. So I'm fine with it.
Well, what about this? What about on a personal level? Obviously you're a Braves fan. Last time you came on, you celebrated the championship. You also, I gave you a free bet. Jorge Soler, you picked Jorge Soler to win the MVP. No one else is like, we were laughing about it off air. I think it was like 35-1. It's like, this is not, I don't even know. Oh, wow. Look at this. He's leading off. Oh, interesting. He had like 4 good games. I think you should lean on that. That's another reason you shouldn't want baseball to come back. People see you in the street. There's Sarah Tiana, a very funny established comedian, placed second in the first roast battle. You know what else she did? She cashed the very last baseball bet of all time. Really? There wasn't another? Nope. Jorge Soler, 35-1, all her. No one else in the world had it. Officially the last successful wager in MLB history. Have you thought this through?
I have not thought that through. I've definitely made a lot of other bets after that, but not on
baseball, right?
Not on baseball. No. I had a lot of the same parlays that Calvin Ridley did. So I'm out. Okay. I'm out another $1,500, which was what I think I won with you.
You did bet on the dogs too, right? I mean, we did talk about that. As that wrapped up at the end of October, the World Series, we said now's the time to get in on UGA.
Yes. Yes. I never bet on my own team normally, but like because Sal was placing the bet, it didn't feel like it was me.
Right.
Anti-Calvin Ridley, in other words.
I know. I mean, it's quite the year because of the Bulldogs, and then Matthew Stafford winning the Super Bowl is like, my voicemail said you've reached Sarah Tiana and Matthew Stafford since 2009 when he got drafted. So kind of feels like a good year.
Quickly with the Ridley thing, I think I've been following your thoughts, and I think they're in line with ours. But go ahead. I don't want to put words in your mouth. What do you think about this?
No, I mean, I think it's dumb what he did, but I also think it's like a really outlandish penalty. But there is like so much gray area when it comes to gambling, and like
way too much.
He did bet on his team. It's just like. But I get really upset if people say that he was like intentionally throwing games. Like this is a guy that can't pass his phone to his friend and be like, hey, bet, or use his friend's phone to bet on games so that it's not his name on the profile.
That was dumb. You went after someone. I don't have to name him, but I'm glad you did. And he since took that video down, and it was like a compilation of what every wide receiver does. He catches the ball for a first down, but then tries to get more. So he ends up getting 9 yards or whatever. Like, whoa, what's going on here? And to me, that's exactly the problem. Imagine this would be every single week, multiple times on a Sunday. People putting together clips and saying, well, let's check his FanDuel account. Let's see who we bet today. Ridiculous. Yeah.
I don't think players should be able to gamble during, when they're playing in the league. When they're an employee of the league, you're not allowed to do it. I mean, my friends that work at NFL Network can't do it either. So it's like, it's not just like the athletes, it's everyone associated with the company. So I don't think.
Well, that one made me laugh out loud. That who you included on that one. Everybody's towing that line.
I mean, just don't be dumb about it. So he's not smart enough to like use someone else's phone. He's not diabolical enough to do it on camera. Is what I'm trying to say.
The people who have ascended to Mount Pius on this, and I completely get the spirit behind it. Obviously, I don't think there's anyone who thinks gambling is worse than violent felonies, and people who are trying to make that case like that's what the league cares about. Yeah, it's not it's not the U.S. Congress that's being put together. It's a professional sports league. Obviously, you ruin the league if there is the Calvin Ridley. I listened to Against All Odds Sal talking about it, and that's exactly right. That the whole thing falls apart. It's studio wrestling. If there's any question about that, the problem is the Stephen Ross part. My issue is with it's like, okay, what are we gonna do about that thing? Like there really is no noise.
They can't do anything because if they do something, then he talks. You know what I mean? He's on this revenge tour. If they try to take him out, same with Snyder. So it's like, what are you going to do?
Do you really think that?
Yeah.
Because I know that everybody says that and it sounds cynical and conspiratorial and everything else, but I kind of think that's true.
Yeah, I think he blows up the whole game. I think he blows up the rest of the integrity. He talks about everyone else who's done it, and he throws everybody under the bus.
The owners thing is a whole different ball game. It really is, right? These guys really are virtually untouchable, and we talked about it with baseball too. It's like they're on a different playing field, but they really are. I mean, Jerry Jones is like, oh, really? He's the father of this kid? Like, okay, let's throw him a party because that's not a jailable offense. And these guys are all scumbags, and I'm not saying he's not, but for God's sakes, yes, of course. How many emails were they? And they picked only Gruden out? Like, the sport could be gone. Well, along those lines, do you want Matt Ryan to return? Or would you rather football go on strike?
Oh, honestly, I'd love I love him and I'm absolutely fine if he stays, but he is such a huge part of our salary cap. And I think trading him to someone like the Colts, who are now in a team that's ready to win. They're just missing one key element, which I think he is, and they don't need a mobile quarterback because they have Jonathan Taylor. So it's like you have all of these. I'd like to see him be in a Matt Stafford situation, is what I'm trying to say. He goes to the Colts, he wins them a championship, he finally gets a ring. He doesn't owe me anything. He took us to the Super Bowl. I don't think what happened in that Super Bowl was his fault.
No, I don't think so either. But I would say this is, I don't know, everyone's like that in check, and you're more in tune with the quarterbacks coming up and everything. But the Falcons are definitely in a nice spot if they like one of those first 2 or 3 guys this year. Or, of course, they could wait.
Sure.
But,
I mean, I think we definitely need, like, if we could get Malik Willis, I'd be like, let's go.
Right.
But I do like the way Fontenot drafts. Like he always just takes the best player available, which I think is like what we have not been doing when we've had great draft picks. And that's why we got Kyle Pitts. So I'm interested to see who is the best available this year based on, instead of drafting based on need, like draft based on like who's the best available that you can end up trading down the line if you need to get like a player that has a better reputation of playing, attested.
You want guys who bet on themselves and bet on their team too. Oh, no. Okay. No, maybe not. Yeah.
It is interesting with that entire division with Matt Ryan or otherwise, like we've now decided as though there are not going to be any more quarterbacks moving around. By the way, I think Kirk Cousins goes to Indianapolis. I've already decided that.
You think
Sarah.
Black Kirk Cousins stays in Dallas?
I love that. That's the greatest.
It's the best. White Kirk Cousins to the Colts. Black
you think?
Kirk Cousins is the odds-on favorite if Aaron Rodgers isn't the favorite out of the NFC. But if you think about it, in the NFC South, who's good right now? Like nobody stands out. Tom Brady retired, if people haven't heard, and the Saints are in a complete shakeup. This Deshaun Watson stuff, I do also curious what you think about the idea of teams going out to get him. I think it's crazy. So I think it's bizarre that Deshaun Watson, it's one thing for him to move. And I always kind of scoff at that when people say, Mike Vick, no one will ever touch him again. Like if he's still good, there will be somebody who will go and get him. The Deshaun Watson stuff is weird, though, because for all we know, he's going to get on top of whatever else happens. He's going to get suspended for a year. So how much can you give up for a guy you have no idea how much runway he's going to even get in the upcoming season? But if Carolina gets Watson, then obviously they would be a decisive favorite. But I think if you keep Matt Ryan, like I could see moving on from Matt Ryan, except for the fact that who else is going to win the division? If Matt Ryan's your QB, you have a decent chance of winning it this year.
I mean, we're a couple bounces away last year from like making the playoffs in our shitty division. So it's not like we don't have elements in place. I'd just be interested to see. We just don't have any money to pay anybody because Matt Ryan's contract is so high. I mean, it's one of the best contracts, and he's the second highest paid player after Aaron Rodgers, if Aaron Rodgers' deal is what it says it was.
Right.
So, I mean, I think it's like, it'd be great to be able to unload that and see him have success somewhere else, just so we could get, start really building a better team. But
if they purged him, if Matt Ryan moved on to Indianapolis or otherwise, if they could unload that contract, it would be fun because the entire NFC South could be decided by who can sign Jameis Winston.
Sure.
If you think about it, that really is what it could come down to.
Yeah.
Any of those 4 teams vying for the 2015 first overall pick. Whoever lands them wins the division.
Well, maybe he could be all-time quarterback for the NFC South. He just jumps from team to team. All right. Well, Sarah, this is true. By the way, I really, really think by the time this podcast posts, I mean, they already made concessions on the international.
The international draft.
Right. International draft. I think this will be solved for no other reason than they've canceled games up to the next day. They cancel now would be April 15th, Jackie Robinson Day, and shame on them if they do that. I mean, this is a whole different ball game if it gets that far. But who knows? It's baseball, so maybe they do.
They don't negotiate in good faith, so you never know.
I have a question for
last week.
Yes, I have one more question for the both of you.
Yeah.
Baseball was saved. You referenced 94, and it wasn't a small matter with Cal Ripken's streak. Like that's legitimately before the Sosa and McGuire's home run chase. The Ripken thing was precious, and everybody swooned, and it was great, and we got back into America's pastime. What event reasonably do you see on the horizon when they get back to playing that's going to make everybody forget this latest mess? Is there one that you see happening that makes baseball relevant again, or people will be like, the hell with it already? I don't want to put up with it anymore.
I haven't even looked at the milestones. Go ahead. Yeah, sorry, Sarah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, we were so close to a home run chase last year with Guerrero and Tatis and Acuna. And then Tatis and Acuna both got hurt and Guerrero kind of dropped off. So I think there's a potential for another big, like, Sosa McGuire streak to start happening. Other than that, I don't know. I mean, we could see if Soler can launch one to the moon again, but other than that, I don't know.
I think we just root for Sarah Tiana's gambling streak to continue. That's it. That's really the milestone for baseball. They play that up.
We'll see. Maybe there'll be some blunders with the big bases.
That's
that
right.
Have
oh my God!
Bases.
They're really focusing on all the right things, right?
I know they care about all the right things.
That's right. Instead of the players taking steroids, they're putting the bases on steroids.
Yeah.
Maybe that's it. We just all go back to steroids. Like, yeah, that's it. Just like we just announced, like, guess what? 2022 baseball now with steroids again and beer. You have to play drunk and jacked up.
I want to ask you, this has nothing to do with anything, but you have a 2-year-old son, right? Cage, that's these two.
Yes.
So you're familiar with what kids look like at certain ages. And we've been discussing this on our various podcasts, and it stemmed from the 40 time a 340 pounder can now beat us all in a race. We know
Jordan Davis.
Yes, exactly. Jordan Davis from Georgia. Oh, your guy. Yeah, that's right. So, and then it made us think, okay, can a 400 pounder beat us? Can a 500 pounder beat us in a race? Can a 6-year-old beat us in a fight? And that's where we got stuck on. Can any 6-year-old beat you in a fight?
Probably. I'm not very good at fighting, and I would just be laughing. I laugh a lot when there's any kind of aggression around. That's how I handle it. So,
and you don't think that would be good to combat the toughest 6-year-old?
How do I hit a 6-year-old back? I understand if they're hitting me, but I'm just like, there's like a part of you that's like, I can't hit back.
Right. But maybe if they're taking out your kneecaps, it's a different story. I don't know.
If he's about to deliver the death blow, you might summon enough dignity to kick him in the head and keep him away from you. Right. I do love, that's funny. When have you, that's always been, people marvel, having talked to me for 90 seconds. I'm sure you joined the club. Like, you've never had the crap kicked out of you, Dave? Like, how is it possible you've never gotten into fisticuffs? You're such an obnoxious ass.
Nobody's ever up with the right 6-year-old, I think.
I guess what I tell everybody is it's true is when people start getting that, like, you want to go, huh? What do you got to say? I can't help but start laugh. I laugh really. I was like, what a ridiculous ass you are. When have you ever been in that? When people want to fight you?
Well, I don't know. It might be a different story with a 6-year-old. That's a good defense, though, I guess. Just laughing in their face. Sarah, what do you have to plug? You're all over the place.
I'm always all over the place. I have a show in Aspen in a couple of weeks. If you're an Aspen local, I'm sure you have a lot of Aspen locals listening to this.
Oh, yeah.
And then, but I produce a podcast with Rick Ingram, who's the greatest crowd work comic of all time, where we interview strangers from the internet. So
I love it.
It's called Rick Ingram Talks to Strangers, and it's anywhere you can find podcasts.
There you go. She's hosting podcasts. She's doing stand-up. She's beating up 6-year-olds, and she's praying to God that they figure out this lockout. And I think it's gone today. I'm going to predict today. Too. Yeah, good things happen when you come on this podcast. So.
And as she said herself, she is the best working stand-up comic.
No,
yes, I heard that too. I heard that too.
You should see it.
If you rewind 11 or 12 minutes ago, you'll hear that. Yeah.
Who needs baseball?
Exactly. All right, Sarah. Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, guys.